Hey team, really interesting one here on pound yen. Let's get right into the analysis. We're going to start on the monthly. As usual, we identified our monthly upper zone by looking for horizontal buy and sell sensitivity, and we identified our lower monthly zone by doing the exact same thing. So after we identify our area of sensitivity, let's talk flow so we can understand what's going on. Here we see a strong push to the downside. Sellers have clear and strong control. Buyers entered the market at our lower monthly zone. What's after a push? That's right, an exhaustion, where then we see sellers re-enter the market. Bearish engulfing candle close, confirmation of a continuational push to the downside. So the market cycle is on the monthly, push, exhaustion, continuational push to the downside. Now let's take it to the weekly for a closer look. All right, on to the weekly again. Identified our weekly upper and our weekly lower zone. Sell and buy sensitivity, okay? So we know that sellers are protecting the weekly upper zone to the upside, buyers are protecting the weekly to the downside. But let's talk flow, and what do we notice with price action? You know what, before we go to price action, we have to talk flow, right? So let's understand what we're looking at here. Remember, we saw that strong push down on the monthly. This is that monthly exhaustion and monthly continuational push to the downside. But what's really important to notice is that price did come in contact already with our monthly lower zone, and we saw a strong wave of buy orders enter the market to push price to close above this weekly lower zone. So this tells me two things. This tells me that there's a lot of buy sensitivity or potential buy sensitivity in between our weekly lower zone and our monthly lower zone, and there's definitely a lot of buy sensitivity at our monthly lower zone when price comes in contact. But the fact that buyers were able to push and beat sellers to the point where it closed above our weekly lower zone tells me that this was also a very well respected area which sellers were just able to beat to the downside. All right, we're still on the weekly here, and I spoke about this pair maybe a couple weeks ago. What I said was, I'm not really comfortable entering a short position on this pair due to the buy sensitivity that we saw at previous contact. What I said was, at any moment, buy sensitivity can enter the market and swing price the other direction. Now, that still holds true. At any moment, there could be a wave of buy sensitivity that swings price in the other direction. But what we're seeing is we're seeing sellers close under our weekly lower zone for the first time in a while. Remember, even at our previous contact, price wasn't able to close below our weekly lower zone. So what does the weekly tell me? Well, the fact that price was able to close below its weekly lower zone tells me that there's not as much buy sensitivity as I thought there would be, meaning that there's potentially an opportunity short to our monthly lower zone before then we see a strong wave of buy sensitivity hit the market. Before we take it down to the daily time frame, I want you to notice this bearish engulfing candle close. Price was able to break below this weekly lower zone, and we see continuous sell pressure in the market. So that's really interesting. Let's take it down to the daily, see if we find a high probability entry short. All right, this looks good. We've taken it down to the daily. We identified area sensitivity. Remember, here's this weekly lower zone. Here we see lower highs. So we identify our daily downtrend. We identified buy pressure on the daily. So here is our daily mid-range zone. So what does this create? This creates a squeeze. And this also gives us a high probability entry because we do see buy pressure, even if it's on the daily. So what does this mean? We stay patient and we wait for price to break this daily mid-range zone to the downside. That will be a push because that breaks an area of sensitivity. So what's after a push to the downside? That's right, an exhaustion, where then we're waiting for price action confirmation, a bearish engulfing candle before we enter short. Now, what would make this trade invalid? Very simple. If price fails to break this daily mid-range zone to the downside, we know that there's too much buy pressure in the market. So this trade becomes invalid because we won't have enough sell pressure for that move to our monthly lower zone. All right, team, that's it for today. Now, we got some really good setups coming early next week. I'm really looking forward to the second half of this month. Hope you all have a great day and night, depending on where you are. And I just want to say again, I appreciate you all and thank you for your continued trust in me. Have a great day, everybody.